Hey traders, happy 4th of July. Control the Trade here with another video on using Finviz to screen for high probability day trades. Let's take a look. I was just thinking back, I was looking at one of my tweets and I noticed that I had posted back in January after I did a scan for highly shorted stocks. And I noticed that some of these, they performed really well, and I was trying to find a correlation of why some performed well and some didn't. I think I just need to be a little more discerning with the stocks that I'm listing there, not just that they have a high short float, but that there would probably be some sort of catalyst that would help propel them as well. So why don't we just do some new scans and see what we can come up with now. Let's take a look at the float short again. Let's bump it up all the way to 30%. That's the highest you can go with the free membership to Finviz. So we'll select that. And we also adjusted for the volume, and we're going to make sure the price is at least over $1. And we'll keep narrowing down our results here for our scan. And we're going to look at the average volume as well. Let's bump that up. We'll start over 500,000. I'm sure we'll end up bumping a little bit higher. Yeah, let's go with, we'll go with 2 million shares. That should narrow it down to a couple pages. So we'll select that now. And then let's see what we have. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts now. So taking a look at ANGI, ANGI, it's been on a nice run, nice squeeze. Definitely one to keep on the radar above all the, I think pretty much all the important moving averages. Not the best close on Friday, but nevertheless, it's still on a nice run. Always be careful. These aren't really, in my opinion, for swing trades, but look at that float, short float. That is unbelievably high. So no reason this can't continue to squeeze when you're at 60% of the shares being floated, or excuse me, being shorted. So that's one to set alerts on. Let's take a look at another. One that's been really frustrating is US Steel. It's been an incredibly long downtrend. So I don't think this is ready yet, but I'm going to come back to it. Maybe set some alerts. I like to look at it when it gets to about 8, and that's a 31% short float. Let's go back. And hopefully I can come away with, let's say, three to 5 plays that I can really keep a close eye on. Hertz is another one that's in trouble as far as going out of business. Bed Bath & Beyond as well, even though the chart looks good. Nordstrom, another one. I'm going to stay away from that for now. Match is interesting, but those are some pretty volatile days there. Skip that for now. GSX has been on a tear. Let's look at page 2. I think this is interesting, El Dorado Resorts. I don't like the close here on Friday or Thursday. And the short float, almost 40%. We'll keep an eye on that because it does have a lot of real estate up here to move once it breaks this trend line. So I like the risk reward on this one. Maybe it runs up to 60, maybe 65, but to hop on out, let's say under 40. Mostly I'm speaking within the context of a day trade, something quick moves. You could definitely look at these for swing trades as well, although I don't highly recommend that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm saying just be very careful. You don't want things dropping when they're out of your control. If you can ride that wave like a Peloton, how that's been riding, then go for it. As long as you manage your risk, maybe take some money off the table so it's kind of a free ride. That's what I recommend. That's when I would recommend a swing trade. Otherwise, we're looking for quick moves because once these go up, they get hammered down pretty fast, at least during the day. All right, let's see if we can find a couple more interesting ones. This one has been unstoppable. C Limited. Come back to that. INSG. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about that for months and months. That's like a nice chart too. Let's check the short float on that one. 35%, unbelievable. It actually has a really bullish chart. I was looking at this long term too. That's a very nice chart on this one. Definitely set your alerts for INSG. You always want to double check the short float before the trading week because it's going to shift, and that's definitely going to change the outlook. In my last video about short squeezes, I mentioned SFIX. I think it was around when it was 24, and you can see what's happened since then. No other reason that this should go up other than shorts covering. Let's take a look. 41% of the shares are short. That's unbelievable. So you have a lot of short covering here. It broke through this trend line here. On my charts, I have 24s being important. Let's pull up one of my charts. Okay, if we're looking at my chart here, the orange dotted dashed line, $30 was what I would consider an important number that was put up there a while back. You can see the Fibonacci retracements that are here. 29.38 is the high. The low is 10.90. It's nice. We have nice symmetry here. This is on a breakaway. So let's see what happens when it gets up to the high here, 29.38. Maybe let's see what happens when we get to 30, and we have to take a look further back to see where this could be headed. Up here at 31.30. Really interesting what happens if we get above 30 on a weekly close. Let's take a look at NVST. I don't know if I've ever looked at this one before. Looks like you have a little mini ABC pattern here potentially. A leg up, B leg down. Trying to break out here to make a C leg. Up to meet this trend line that they auto draw in here. Let's take a look at this on the chart. NVST. Yeah, nothing on this chart yet, no drawings, so that's a good thing. Let me take a look at this and break it down. So with NVST, definitely watch that level 25.65. It's on a nice little uptrend here, and you have nice support down below at the 200 period moving average. I would definitely dump it if it drops below that, and above this candle we could get a nice little breakout to test the high of this candle here, 23.91 approximately, up to 24, and then let's see what happens when we get to 25.65 if we get there. Could see a nice pattern developing here. If it does break out above this line, I would expect it to run pretty fast, considering the short squeeze that should occur. Let's take a look at one more. I just saw a tweet with this one. This one didn't come up my scan. It's just below 25% on the short float. And I just drew this line here after a couple quick looks. I was debating whether to make the important number here 1050 or 10. And then it was funny, I went and I looked at Finviz. I'm not sure what this line represents. This trend line they have here looks like it's a little over $10 too. So that's interesting. I guess that's the breakout area right here. So keep an eye on that for a pullback. This is a monster candle here. Don't know what happened that day, but it's still in a nice uptrend above all the important moving averages. And the interesting thing about this is if it closes above, let's say 1850, and then if it closes above the high of these candles, let's say 20, 21, I mean, there's no telling what could happen. It could run all the way up here, potentially. It seems too obvious on a breakout, but somebody's got to cover those shorts, and that is a large percentage of shares that are being shorted. So check out finviz.com, sign up for a free account, links below, and it's a great tool to use while you trade. Remember, don't let the trade control you. Thanks for watching.